And in business, one of the stories the business world cannot ignore in 2023 is the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, which filed charges against Nigerian businessman Dozy Mmobuosi and 3 companies of his incorporated in Nigeria for alleged inflation of companies' performance to defraud investors. The SEC filed the charges in U.S. District Court in New York against Mmobuosi for violating the anti-fraud provision of the Federal Securities Law and NASDAQ reporting and internal controls. Our correspondent Jide Olaniro completes the story.
Football enthusiasts know him as the man who wanted to buy English Premier League side Sheffield United at the time in 2022. The same year, he sponsored a pre-season football tournament in Nigeria, promising to make it an annual event, but nothing has been heard about it until it was recently linked to a Nigerian second-tier team, 1472 FC, as the sponsor. The man, Dozy Mmobuosi, is now enmeshed in a fraud allegation which could make or mar his reputation for life. The United States Securities and Exchange Commission has filed charges against Mmobuosi and 3 of the companies Tingo Group, Agri Fintech and Tingo International Holdings, which he is CEO, alleging they inflated the financial performance of the companies and key subsidiaries to defraud investors.
Outside of Nigeria, outside the world. But these guys actually decided to almost create a fictitious, entity and actually boldly put it out there, in a country with the SEC, with the FBI, all these kind of places. And why would you do that? I mean, it's a very, very, it's a very sad and terrible story. And I don't know why they did it, because from day one, it was clear that this business was built on a pack of lies.
It's bad because, of course, they're going to say it's a Nigerian that ran this. The bank that I'm seeing on the SEC listing here are Nigerian banks, but still, I have to ask that question in a way. It's very, very bad in terms of the image. It falls into that same, stereotype that we're all fraudsters in quotes, more or less, and that's just going to be bad for us going forward.
In November, the SEC altered trading in NASDAQ-listed Tingo Group and Agri Fintech securities after finding inaccuracies in their disclosures. The move followed a report by US-based Hindenburg Research in June that called the company an exceptionally obvious scam and caused Tingo's share price to nosedive.
The reason why you go to the US to list is, of course, the compliance, and the risk and the governance that you have in the US market, that investors believe that a higher level of oversight has happened on your books. Clearly, this didn't happen in Tingo's case. He fell through the cracks. He lied his way through, as alleged, and now it's falling apart. So I think if you go in, it's going to be the same level of scrutiny. But the SEC also relies on the auditors and the board to do that secondary, or should we say the primary check on the account before you come to the big board. And I think that's where the failure started, that at the very, very basic level.
There are 2 Tingo Group subsidiaries believed to be operating in Nigeria. Tingo Mobile, which claims it provides farmers with microloans, weather forecast, and an online marketplace, and Tingo Foods, which product is not seen in any market. These 2 are also alleged to have grossly inflated valuations in order to attract investors.
I mean, you don't even have an office. It's not as if Hindenburg didn't try to come to the office. They went to Lagos. They went there. They don't find any stuff. They don't find anything. They took pictures. So it wasn't as if they made up a story or anything about it. So by the time that report came out, I mean, Tingo, I guess maybe they could not actually come out and say, "Oh, sorry, you've caught us. We're sorry."
In April this year, Tingo co-chair Christophe Chalier resigned, citing his unwillingness to sign off on the group's financial statements and the lack of communication and teamwork in the management of the company. Although Mmobuosi has called the SEC's allegations baseless and says he will contest them with unwavering resolve, while Tingo Group has also issued a statement that it intends to vigorously defend itself in relation to the SEC complaints. Now we await the outcome of the Security Exchange Commission investigation with bated breath. Jide Olaniro, TV 360 Lagos.